Good morning, everyone. Let's wait a minute to others to join. So the clock is 9:30, and let's start. You are so welcome to this webinar, where we will talk about 3 strategies on how to tackle seasonal sales returns. Today's speaker is me. My name is Marcus Nordlund, and I am a head of sales at In Return. I have spent most of my professional life in digitalizing e-commerce and retail and logistic processes, and actually within the area of returns and claims for several years. Thinking about it, I was actually beginning with the returns processes when Sony Ericsson started to produce their first mobile phone. So that's a couple of years ago. So before we go into today's topic, which are those 3 strategies, I want to spend some time to talk about and define what a returns management system really is. Because there's a lot of player and platforms out there, and the market is currently maturing, but there are a lot of differences. So let's spend some time of defining how we look into what our definition of what a returns management system is and what kind of business value it should deliver. First of all, it of course consists of this digital returns journey, and that I think all of you are familiar or agree that is an important part of a return solution, and that is often what you see in front of you while looking for a tool or evaluating different platforms, etc. And it is for sure a very important piece that needs to be there to be able to deliver a state-of-the-art customer journey in the same way that you have in your sales process. You need to have it within all the things, all the activities that happens after checkout, meaning for returns, for claims, for exchanges, and maybe later on for repair processes, recycling processes, second-hand transactions, etc., etc. So one piece of it, the digital returns journey, where you take care of your consumer, you held their hand through the process, and you collect data and you provide them with some kind of QR code or label to be able to ship the product in. But does it really provide enough business value to just have this digitalized returns journey? We believe not, or we have actually data that shows that this isn't, so to say, good enough. But it is for sure an important feature or part of the. It needs to be combined with something else, and it's actually the basis for the other stuff that should be in a platform that delivers more business value. And what is that then? Well, when you have digitalized your customer journey, you should be able to do what we call product routing, which gives you the capability of putting up rules and to be able to prioritize and steer your return product flow depending on the need that you have. Let me take some examples. Of course, the topic for this session was seasonal returns. And that is, when it comes to seasonal returns, the product routing feature is a really important and valuable type of module. So what happens here is that we when we fetch the digital return that the consumer register, we look into the product and we can see in the middle on the top, you can see that this is a seasonal summer season 24 type of product, or it's maybe a swimwear category. And then we will route those products to a specific location in this example, warehouse number 1, with a UPS Express freight. And the purpose with that is that it is so important to take those products back really, really fast, so we can get them out there to be sellable again within the season, the short season that you have for those kind of products. But for other, for example, never out of stock products such as white t-shirts, white socks, and other stuff that you have, you can run that through a more cost-efficient, more not so fast logistical process, maybe via return hub if you have international processes, and via a cheap package service, which will bring it to your warehouse or return hub then. And in the bottom, you can also see that you can have set up those type of rules with help of also price points and things like that. So, for example, articles with price below 100 SEK in this case will go directly to charity, because it costs too much to take it back, put it into sellable stock again with all the quality controls and administrative tasks, etc. So it's a better choice in this case to send it to charity directly. So that gives you some ideas of what's possible with this product routing feature. Another part of a returns management platform is the return room management feature. And the purpose with that is to quality assure the receipt process within your warehouse or your store or your return hub. Some kind of physical place where your where your products ends up. And the main purpose here is to trigger the return complete mail to your consumer, because they are eager waiting for some communication that the return has been landed at your site, that you are taking responsibility for the return that they have sent in. But it's also a trigger for the refunding, and the most important thing is that it is the trigger for the product that it becomes available online in store again. So here it's very important to have a process or a module that gives you the possibility to make this process very cost efficient and fast. And most important would be this seasonal, for example, Black Week, Black Friday, or after Christmas, or after your summer sales or whatever, where you have a lot of returns that needs to be processed very fast to get it out there within the short season. But there's more to it within this return room management tool. You can also work with to fetch different kind of data when it comes to product conditions, for example. And this is just one flow to trying to visualize what is possible, to give you an overview of what you can do. So what happens here is that the operator is fetching the product conditions on the products, and based on their input, we will help them to sort the goods to a specific place, which you have decided from a central point of view. So, for example, here where the original packaging is missing, for example, then they will place it in some warehouse, and if it's dirty or smells, or it's something wrong with the product, we will place it in an outlet bin, so it will go into an outlet process, for example. And this is very powerful, especially if you have a structure where you have 3PL players out there, maybe you have several sites throughout the world, and this capability gives you the opportunity to make a digital copy of your physical processes, making it possible to do a central configuration and steer your operational parties out there with this central configuration and to have a cost-efficient way of handling the goods, even if it's 3PL or outsourced operations. And the last thing of this return management platform, or at least in this webinar, is of course the return insights part. The data is of course crucial, and you need the data on item level, you need it on customer level to be able to work with it proactively, to make changes, and to hinder unnecessary returns and claims and things like that. So that was a overall definition of how we look at the returns management platform, and the capabilities that need to be in there to give you as much business value as possible. So based on that, let's go into these 3 strategies or areas that we think are very important to, again, provide you with enough business value when you work with your returns. And I've tried today to focus on 3 different areas or strategies that is not so common. Often we talk about things like, fetch feedback from the customer, make changes to your product descriptions, make sure that your images are up to date and are good, etc., to be able to proactively hinder unnecessary returns. But let's look into 3 new things that is really powerful. The first thing is the effective communication part. And the important thing here to understand is this is not only the communication and all the touch points that are created within the returns, exchange, and claims process, meaning all the touch points that happens in the after sales process. That is also important, and that is what this example shows with this your exchange is registered, which means that you have the capability of have a really personalized communication within those touch points based on what kind of product that is returned, what kind of consumer it is. Is it a profitable customer or not, things like that. But what we see is that the greatest value is that if you can feed this return data in to your sales and marketing processes and enhance your normal sales and marketing processes communication with help of this return data. So for example, here you have workflows in behind that looked into if the customer often buys too small products or too big products. If it's we keeping track, or the CRM is keeping track, or if it's a profitable customer based on how they are buying and returning, and adapt the communication against the consumer based on that. And that is really powerful, because in that, when you are getting this data automatically into your CRM system, you have connected the return process with your sales and marketing process, and you will get direct effect within the sales and marketing process to be able to sell to the customers that are profitable for you, for example, but also to customers and consumers that doesn't have so high return rate. So data shows that you can get up to 30% lower return rate if you adapt your communication to your customers within the sales and marketing process based on your return data. Another really interesting area is kind of the same thing, but applied on the product and based on product information instead of customer data. So you probably have on your site some kind of review tool or something like that, and survey after survey shows that it's really important to have that, and a lot of customers look into that before they buy. But those survey tools, they are based on service to your customers, And the answers frequency on those kind of tools is kind of low. They are between 15 to 25%, something like that. That means that the data you're getting in on each and every product or variant, it's not, you need to wait, you need to have a lot of sales orders and a lot of service and a lot of answers from your customers before that the data is valid or correct. But what if you can get this data from the returns process instead? Then you will have 100% correct data based on your return feedback from your customer. You can build up your product reviews based on correct and accurate and 100% data from the returns process instead. And maybe then combined with service where it's needed. But this is an area which also is an example of how you can connect your return process and your return data automatically into your sales and marketing process. And that, we believe, that is the key here, because we don't have the time today to look at data, analyze the data, take some action, and get a result of that. Look at the data again, take some action. We need to have those processes automated to really get the value out in a good way. The third strategy, that is related to return logistics. And that is also to showcase that the customer journey, that is so important for the customer experience on your site, your brand building, etc. But it's also just a way of providing you with data and opportunities to optimize the behind processes. And the return shipping is one of them, because based on the data that we get within this customer journey, we can do what we call return shipping optimization. And it has been proven through as you can see here, that you can really do a lot of cost reduction based on this. Because probably you send out your outbound packages with some parcel service, and the normal thing that you return the pieces with the same parcel service. But the customer often returns maybe 1 out of 3 pieces that they have bought, meaning that you have the capability of downsizing your return package to or return service to something else. So with help of good data and a good return management platform, you can downsize your packages from a package service to some merchandise mail service, for example, and by that save a lot of money. And we have a customer example here where we have proven results of where 35% of the returns orders were adjusted to downsize to something else, and they saved 1 million SEK every year, or they are saving 1 million SEK per year by doing this. And this, looking into this sector and looking into that from an international perspective, when it comes to how you can optimize your return logistics, you have a huge opportunity when it comes to cost reduction. So all the strategies that we have looked at are of course based on data. And I'll try to show you 3 examples where you can use the data for different things. And let me just try to summarize what you can do with the return data from an overall perspective. Number 1, informed decision making. I mean, those are the normal things. You are getting valuable data from your customers connected to, for example, products. I mean, quality trends. You need it in. You can feed it into your quality enhancement processes within your company. The purchase department are interested in it, etc. And you can do changes on your site and things like that. So that is kind of common that where you are working with that kind of data. But new things that it's coming up and becoming more and more important, that is operational efficiency. I mean, of course, right now with the market is that it's really, really important to have a cost efficient process. You need to reduce or do cost reduction activities and things like that. And based on your data, or when you have digitalized the return process, you will have a lot of points or measure points which is the foundation to try to optimize your processes, and often then relating to lead time. So look into your lead time when it comes to operational efficiency. Look at the lead time for how long does it take from the customer register a return until it gets refunded, for example. And even more important, how long does it take for a package to be sellable again at the place where you want it to be sellable? Could be your online warehouse, could be a store, could be an outlet. But it's really important to look into the lead times here, because that is crucial when it comes to inventory management and things like that. Customer satisfactions, well, of course, you have a lot of data here to ensure that your NPS are measuring the full end-to-end process. You're probably kind of good to measure the customer satisfaction when it comes to the process, to the sales process, throughout the checkout and things like that. But it's so important to measure it all the way until you have a happy customer. And that is until they have done their return, they have done their exchange, they have closed their claim issue or whatever they are doing with you in the after sales process. So include those things in the NPS or other measurements that you are doing. Profitability, that is really a good thing to with a lot of business value opportunities within it, because when you have digitalized the returns processes, you will have the capability of measuring what we call net profitability. And that means that you can keep track on the summary of how a customer sales or how a customer buy and how they return, and all the operational logistics costs that are related to that end-to-end process over time. And that gives you a new KPI that is really good when it's counting, which we call a net profit on both customer but also on the product level, to make real-time decision on how to steer your business to enhance your margins in different ways. Sustainability then. Well, when it comes to sustainability and returns, we often talk about transportation, unnecessary transportation, etc. And that is, of course, an important part, but I think it's about 97% or something like that of the CO2 footprint is related to the product. So it's more important to look into the lead times of the product so it gets sellable again. You don't want it to be to sit in the customer unused, for example. You want they returned, especially within those new legal things that are coming from the European Union, where you need to have extended what you call it for the product responsibility and things like that. So look into how use the return data to measure your CO2 footprint, and look into the number of labels you are printing and how you can get rid of them, and all the papers that you are maybe sending out today. The last thing, strategic planning. Well, that is something that is beginning to mature right now, because when you have a good and quality assured return data, you can use that for forecasting and inventory management. And by that we mean that we know with the data that you will have products hitting your warehouse within a certain time range, and then you knew that they could be sellable again at a specific point in time. And it's kind of the same strategic as when in different markets we are selling things based on the purchase order, meaning you're starting to sell things that are on the boat or in a container or whatever, and in this on the site, and in the same way here, you can start to mirror up a part of the inventory it's coming back for you within the returns flow. Because we know based on data that some percentage of those products will be sellable again, and they will be sellable in a specific point of lead time, the lead time to your warehouse, the lead time to your store, and things like that. And that will become even more important now with the trend that you will need to have a lower inventory. The trend is that you are doing smaller purchases. We need to work with that to be able to meet the demands of the environment and things like that. So that was a summary of three strategies, and also a little bit about how we can work with data from a general point of view. And what impact does a return management system gives you then? Well, I will not go through this in details. You will get this material afterwards. But I will take the top two examples here. Looking into a product or a feature that just have a digital returns journey, well, that is a straightforward system for initiating returns online, giving you a QR code. That's it. Having a returns management system, that gives you a comprehensive platform managing the entire return lifecycle, including the things that will come later on now with the demands of you when it comes to repairing and things like that. Looking at what focus do we have on those different things? Well, the digital returns journey simplifies customer return process, but the returns management system optimizes business operations and profitability based on the customer return process. So it's a huge difference here between a digital return journey and a full returns management system, and it's a huge difference what kind of business value that we are providing. And we have, of course, looked into this and looking into the effect that you can get from the digital returns journey. Well, it gives you a quick value. It gives you a small value, but quick. But it don't grow so much over time. But when it comes to the returns management system with more operational efficiency, logistics, and automated processes, more integrated value, etc., it gives you a lot of more business value, and it doesn't stop, because there is always things to adapt and to work differently for different products, for different product groups, extend your rule set to make smart decisions, things like that. So it will have all kind of things that will make it possible for you to grow when it comes to more cost reduction or things like that. So, and to end that discussion, just to show you that the returns management system gives you so much business value in different areas, depending on where your pain points are and where you want to start. For example, Stellar Equipment, they really wanted to extend the reconversion and having a good NPS score. So that was their focus. Nordic Nest, a totally different player, very low return rates, but needed cost reduction because even if they are low return rates, they have a lot of volumes, so they need to do this efficiently. Svensk Tenn is an example of increased efficiency and when it comes to especially lead time. So that was it. Open for questions. Please state them in the chat or yeah, I get some notification here that we have some problems with the Q&As. So just fetch me on LinkedIn or contact me in any way afterwards if you have some thoughts, feedback. I'll be happy to help you out and share my experience. And to end with, If you need any further help looking into this kind of platforms in this jungle of different platforms and apps which is out there, please read our guide. It will give you input to state the right questions to the suppliers to give the best chances to choose the right platform for your business and for your purpose. Thank you so much for today. Have a nice day. Bye.